Hello viewers, you're welcome once more to your favorite show, Shantia's Haven. Today we are going to continue with what we started last week, parenting from a distance. No two people actually get married with the intention of living apart, but life happens and then they have to live apart. It could be for health reasons, it could be for educational reasons, it could be for financial reasons or other reasons. Today we are taking it from another angle. We are going to listen from children's point of view about parenting from a distance, how they feel about it, how they feel about leaving home. We have two wonderful teenagers, adults and children in our midst. I call all those titles teenagers, adults, children because they stand here as children although they are teenagers and adults. So our first guest today on Shantia's Haven is Ancho. Welcome Ancho. Welcome to Shantia's Haven. We have another wonderful guest here, the boy's point of view. Welcome on Shantia's Haven. Today we'll continue with parenting from a distance. And from what I know, two of you and Cho, you have lived away from your parents for quite the viewers and myself would like to know how it feels, what it was for you to have separated from your parents, and how you came out strong, because for all these years you have stayed and you have come out strong. And also to Shalom, I know that it's not been very long, but it's been a while that you also lived away from your parents. So we want to hear what it is like. We know a man's point of view about living away from home and a woman's point of view about living away from home cannot really be the same thing, and no two parents are the same, no two situations are the same. We are just trying to learn from this and to see how it goes. Last week we had a lot of reactions from our viewers. I will just read what some of our viewers said here. One of our viewers said that I don't buy the idea of people getting married and staying apart, because God is not part of that. Marriage is for the people to stay together as a family. So I hold the opinion that when we get married, we should stay together as a family. That's your opinion, and which is good. Everybody has a right to their opinion. Another person, one of our parents, talked today about there's no problem with that in the situation, if you find yourself in that kind of situation which is beyond your control. So today we are going to find out from Ancho first person, what do you think, Ancho, concerning parenting from a distance? From what I learned, I learned that you've been away from home for quite some years. So what can you say about living away from home? How do you feel about that? Is it a nice experience? Do you have an issue about living away from home?
Living away from home was not an easy experience for me as the last child of my parents. But living there wasn't easy because it was something that I wasn't expecting.
I can imagine as the last child you're attached to your parents.
I was so close and attached to my mother. Leaving her was not easy. Because
you had a bond between your mother and you.
Yes. There was, so leaving my mom left me with a lot of negative effects.
When you talk of negative effects, like what kind of effect do you mean?
Negative effects like miss her.
Yes, you miss her.
Yes, missing her because it's not easy to stay for years without seeing your mother or without communicating with her. Yes, sometimes it also affects me because when you don't see her, it's possible you don't know how
she's doing, how she's faring, whether she's fine or so,
whether she is in good health or she is sick.
Ancho, still on that point of parenting from a distance, or you living away from your parents. You see, this is Ancho and she's been away from her mother as a last child, very attached to her mother, and it came a time where she had to separate from her mother, and she said it wasn't easy. She misses her, and from what she says, she can't even communicate with her mother as much as she wants to. because of means of communication which is not very, very much available there where her mother is found, and so it disturbs her somehow. So what will you tell a mother, what will you tell a parent out there who found themselves in this kind of situation where they have to separate with their children and the children are feeling bad? How do you cope? What did you do, what did you find as a mechanism to cope? Because you have lived away from your mother for quite some time and you didn't stay back crying every day. You have pushed ahead to do something good with your life. So how did you manage to navigate that as a last child who is so attached to the mother and away from home?
I saw that it was an advantage for me and my mother. That is, my mother had to let me go because she saw that there was something good coming. Though at that time I cried, but I didn't see it as a child. But she saw it, that is why she had to take it like that. And I would say she is a strong woman to let go of her last child at a tender age just like that. Yes, it's because she had faith in me and she believed that one day I will become that person that she has always wanted.
Okay, so because if your mother had faith in you and knew that one day you become that person she had always wanted you to be, she could let you go.
Let me go.
Okay, so now that you went away from your mother, you were missing her. So how did you become this strong? I want you to talk to that child out there who is also away from home and doesn't know how to handle it and is always downcast and all of that. How did you find that strength to live every day even without being able to communicate with your mother?
I stood up because I saw that as a training. Sometimes you have to leave your mother to acquire or achieve certain things, because when you are by your mother you are being it's like you are being covered. So what kept me was because I noticed and realized that where I was, or being away from my mother, I realized that where I was being trained. I was given a training for the future.
Okay,
I was given a training for the future, and there are certain things that I will learn not from my mother, and you have to leave. And I had to leave my mother. I took it that I had to leave my mother because I have to experience life. You have to face life without her. And even if I don't leave her, if I do not leave her at that age or stage, I will still leave her when I grow up. So I had to face the challenges of life without her. And today, I would say I am happy because I had that experience really helped me to be who I am today.
Okay, that experience helped you to be who you are today. So who are you today?
Today, I would say I can live without my mother.
Okay.
I can live without my mother. Yes, I have been trained in a way that I see life as your mother will give birth to you, but it's possible you will not end up with her. Yes, and life will still move on. It depends on how you take it. It depends on how you take it. You don't have to be every day. You don't have to cry all the time because you're not with your mother. You have to grow up.
Thank you so much. We'll be right back on your case. So we have today a lady, a mother, who has also parted with her children. To her, it's okay, it's possible, and it's doable. We want to learn from her, how doable is this? How possible it is for a mother who gave birth to a child to separate from these children due to circumstances. Let us watch Valerie. We'll be right back.
This stance of parenting is actually possible. It's doable. In life, when you're faced with a situation you cannot change, all you can do is accept it, find a way to deal with it, and make it a good experience for you. I had to move my first two children abroad to the US to go to school. And I've been in that situation for 4 years now. They have been studying there, and I and my husband and I have been living in Cameroon. But it has not been a challenge to us, because with technology that we have today, We have access to them at any time, any day. We talk to them daily on the phone. I, particularly as the mom, I make sure I speak to them daily. I see them daily because I do video calls, so that if there's anything I see visually that's wrong with them, I can pick it. And because they're grown, they're 16 and 17, it's easier for me to relate with them on a closer level. They open up to me and I advise, I pray with them, I send them information online that they need to know. So there's really no barrier to it. While they were in Cameroon, they were in boarding school. I wouldn't see them every day except when they're on holidays. But right now I have access to them every day. So it's actually easier for me. The only difference is they don't come on every other term holiday, but we make sure on summer holidays, which is longer, they're in Cameroon, or I travel there and I spend time with them. But before then, we have seen like every day and solved daily problems together. So it's very doable and it's workable, and I have had no challenges with it. My family over there too is very helpful, so it eases the work for me. But like I said, I'm on their cases daily. I check their grades online. I have access to their assignments. I have access to their tests. Everything they're doing in school, I see it because I have a password that I can sign into their programs, so I can be able to coach them in that direction. I see the activities, what they have to do, and I can be able to advise as well. So it's been an easy journey for me, and it's been a good experience, something different but very interesting, and it's doable. So distant parenting is very possible. With the resources we have today, we have no excuse. If you care for your children, you love your children no matter where they are, you'll always be there for them.
Thank you very much, Valerie, for that experience you've shared with us there. So we learned that it is doable and it's possible to live away from your children, especially when it's very necessary. We have another guest on Chances Haven today. We have Shalom. Shalom too is a child who has lived away from his parents for quite a while, and we want to get his own experience. What was it like, or is it okay living away from your parents? What did you see as your advantage? What is the disadvantage? What do you advise out there?
Okay, for me and my experience living away from my parents, it wasn't quite bad.
Okay.
Yes, because let me take it to the side of men.
Yeah.
When you are a man, no matter how your parents can say they are strict with you, there will be a level of laissez-faire that they always give you.
Okay.
Yes. So as a man, when you leave your parents' home or your father's home, you discover now the truth that is in life. And now with that notion, you understand that you need to do this and you need not to do that.
Okay, so you're living away from home, from what you're saying is that it helped you be able to face life as a man.
Yes.
Because okay, so when did you separate from your parents? About what age did you separate from your parents?
Separated with my parents when I was 16.
About 16 years old.
16.
Okay, so it helped you to be able to face life as a man and not just stay around mommy and be pampered and spoiled or so.
Yes, because normally when I was with my parents, I could leave the house at, let me say, 9 p.m.
Yes.
and I can come back at 3 a.m.
3 a.m. Okay.
And she will not say anything, or they won't say anything, because you are my child. I cannot send you away. I cannot do something bad to you. But immediately I left my home.
Yeah.
I went somewhere else that no, they teach you that here.
Yeah.
This time you go, this time you come back, and it's not late.
Okay.
You don't have to enter the house late.
That experience reminds me of one experience I had, because as a child too, I was taken away from our home at a tender age, and I was sent somewhere far to go to school with an uncle. And living there, at the beginning, I was just excited at a change of town, a change of place. And when I got there, most of the qualities about life, most of the lessons I learned about life was from that uncle I lived with when I was at a very tender age, because he taught me some things. Our home was quite a large family. We had a lot of extended people in the home. We used to live about 16 sometimes in the home. So sometimes you're lost in that crowd, and so many things can go on unnoticed at that tender age. But here with this uncle, I was alone with him and his wife. So he had his eyes on me. Some things about life, I had to learn them from him. Yes, what you should do, the do's and the don'ts about life. Some things that I look at children today, they are doing them like, where did you grow up? Because in my days, you don't even do that. So I think it was also a good experience, you leaving home as I had that experience.
Yeah, but nonetheless, I can't tell you that I never missed my parents or those type of
things.
Thank you.
No, I didn't live there forever.
Yes.
I missed my parents, so I had to go back home. I said I'm not going again.
But the thing is, the important thing in life, you need to face life.
Yes.
You need to face life.
I think so.
At least you have to carry the burden of leaving your parents and going out there, understanding how life is, because you keep on living with your parents. I trust parents, they'll keep on doing things for you, and you never understand what is out there. Like for example, documents. Your parents will keep on making you documents, doing your documents, everything. But if they allow you go out there, you become used to yourself
and know how to face
and
life.
now you can help somebody.
Thank
like
you
that
very
type
much.
Of thing. Yes.
Thank you, viewers. That's Shalom's point of view. According to him, it is important that you live away from home at a certain age so that you learn certain things about life, and it helps you to become independent and strong and ready to face the future. We have yet another guest, another person. We have this wonderful lady, Nyata, who talked to us about her experience about parenting from a distance. Nyata talked from a parent's point of view, where the husband had to move and leave his child, the effect he had on them, and all of that. So let us listen to what she has to say concerning this.
When we first had our daughter, about a year after, my husband had to travel for the studies, and it was quite a challenging time because she had turned 1 and really attached to her daddy. So after some time, we decided to get a laptop that would keep us in communication, like video calls and maybe just chatting, communicating with each other, and for him to be able to, communicate with his daughter at the time, which was okay for some time, but it became really challenging after some time, especially as she grew up with time and then wanted to, always be with her dad. And then, he would travel back home to visit and spend about 6 weeks to 2 months, which I think to our daughter wasn't enough. We eventually had our second child, our son, who was actually born in his absence. And it became more challenging when he decided to finally come back home, and he spent about 9 months. But it was really difficult when it wasn't going on smoothly with his studies as well. So we had to then finally decide to move with the kids and join him where he was. So it was going to be easier to bond together as a family and with the kids, so that it creates that healthy environment for the children to grow up in.
Okay, Ancho, you are the child who stayed away from home and you felt some pain living away from your mother. You missed her and all of that, but you're grateful for what you have become today. So what are you going to say about your experience and living away from home?
I would say my experience living away from home was painful. It helped me to become independent and able to experience or to face the challenges of life. And I want to thank Mama Hannah for letting me go or leaving her So I'm grateful for you for letting me go, because it really helped me to become the woman that you would have loved me to become.
You're grateful to Mama Hannah. So Mama Hannah, Ancho is grateful and she's happy that you let her go, although it was a painful thing. I call that part of that tough love, like we have in one of our episodes. Now, Shalom, what about you? What do you have to say about your experience living away from home?
My experience living away from home, if I want to divide like the negative and the positive, for me the positive would take about 85%.
85%. So Shalom is positive about living away from home at a certain
Why
age.
the negative? I can say 15, just 15, because you always have negative effects living your parents' home. But now let me just talk a little bit about the positive effects.
Yeah.
Now the positive effects, like I said, I will stand on my point. It makes you independent. It makes you know how to face life, and how you also help people in future if they need that same, or if they find themselves in that same situation. Yes. Now the negative effects. There are some moments that when you sit there, you remember you having them with your parents. Or home. No matter where you go, that same experience you cannot have. No matter how it was, even if it was just something small, you guys just are always just in the parlor. When you remember that, no matter what you do, you can never have those.
Home is home, according to Shalom. So no matter how far you go, no matter what it is, no matter the advantages it has, nostalgia, home is home. You always think of going back home. When you have the children, it is advisable to make a conscious effort that the other person communicates with your children every now and then. They could write, leave SMSs, leave WhatsApp messages, write email addresses. Using their email addresses, they could write mails, or they could even write with their pen and paper and keeping it until when the person comes. Some of them can even develop a diary. They write whatever happens every day, and when they have an opportunity, you send it to them, to the other parent, so the parent feels like, I am part of my children's life, because it's already bad enough that they don't live with their children. So it's good. And also, what you tell the children about the other person is also very important. Even if you have issues, even if you have problems, you don't need the children to come in. Their relationship with the other parents, they have a right to that. Don't stop it. Don't kill it. So let it flow no matter what is happening. It's very, very important. Once in a while, ask the children, so have you discussed with your mother or with your father, depending on who lives with the children, who doesn't live with those children? And to you who is away from the children, don't also overwork them, because sometimes these children just want their space. You don't call morning, afternoon, evening, night, and then you want to control their lives from a distance a lot. No. Understand with them. They can get tired. They can make mistakes. And don't make it feel like you are better off than the other parent who is there. It's something, a mutual thing. It's a little bit difficult, but we need to come to an agreement on how we want to parent, so that it doesn't have a negative effect on these children as well. And to you parents out there who are faced with this situation where it is beyond your control, you have to parent from a distance, you have to part with your children, you've listened to them, don't kill yourself. If it's really beyond your control, then have faith in God that your child is fine wherever that child is. Have faith in yourself that you can parent from a distance. Like we heard from Valerie, she said, every day she is in the life of her children. She makes sure she understands what is happening. So if you have the means to call them, why not do that every day? So that you also be in their lives and find out what is happening in their lives, because there are some things they may tell you which they will not tell their guardians. And also, if you cannot reach out to them, then I think you should keep praying. Just like Ancho, where she can't reach her mother every day. She can't reach her mother sometimes even in a month. She can't reach her. So she just has to pray, and the mother has to pray, believing that the child is fine, and believing that the child is okay. And she's grateful to her mother today, because all of this has made her be the woman that she is becoming, or the woman that she has become. So parents, life sometimes is tough. Life sometimes presents us with difficult choices, but when they do, let us make the most of it. But if you can, stay together with your family so that you build a happy family together. Remember, it is building a happy society, a healthy society, one family at a time. Thank you very much for joining us on Shasia 7 this week. Never forget to leave it better than you met it. Bye-bye.